Okay, here we go from the front. And again, this is the one where I think that probably you get in just a little bit of trouble with the ball as far as positioning. I'd bring the ball and I would want to center it a little bit more in front of you here. And I want your elbow to be on the outside of the bowling ball. I don't want it on the inside. So I'd like to see the elbow outside of the ball back here, which means you're going to have to move the ball in about 4 or 5 inches possibly. And then, once you've done that, possibly place this hand directly opposite of your right hand. Place your left hand kind of on the ball on opposite sides to get a nice even feel and pressure on your hands of the bowling ball. With the ball being on the inside, then the swing is going to go more behind your shoulder and less likely to get behind your back. So I'm going to get you in motion right here, and let's watch that happening. Right here now, the ball is definitely outside of your elbow. And usually that means it's going to go behind your back, that's where it happens. And again, it isn't the fact that it's a terrible amount. It's the fact that you have to be able to maintain the exact same amount every time. I mean, if it's 1 inch off, either left or right, that's going to make a 4 or 5 board difference at the pin deck. So straight up, straight back is by far the better of the two choices. Okay, at the foul line, as you release the ball, and I think it's because of the really long last step, you're very, very close. I would like to see this slide foot. And again, I think if the slide foot is less, you just heard my phone go off, and that was Susie Minshew from Texas. I would want to see this phone, good grief. I'd like to see your foot a little straighter to direction as to where the ball's going. Okay, so you're sending the ball more on an angle like that into the lane. What that does is it moves your knee out of the way and it lets your hips rotate around when you do your shoulders. Now your shoulders have to rotate around and square up to the direction the ball wants to go. If the hips are going one way and the shoulders are going the other, that is just never a good deal. So as this motion goes forward, now of course you're out of the ball completely. This balance position you have right here, I find a little bit out of control. As you can watch and see how much your foot turned after you let go of the ball, that's just catching your weight as, everything is flowing forward. And again, part of that is because that last step is just too long. And it's just simply too long. Okay, so let's bring Jason up like we've been doing. I'll get you back to the beginning here. Because, of course, I have him from the front, too. I had to put this on a permanent reel, shouldn't I? Okay, now let's get both of you centered here a little better. Make your screen bigger. Okay. So here's the differences I'm looking at. See the difference in the hands here? See the difference in the ball and the elbow? And it's not so much I'm trying to make you like Jason, it's just that my experience of having anyone where the ball's outside of the elbow, I have an arm swing problem usually. So I'm going to put you in motion. I'm going to just do them one step at a time so we can compare how they look. First step. First step. You can see the difference here of the hand. This hand would have a tendency to push the ball and rotate it over your hand and cause it to be outside even farther yet. Step number 2. Step 2. Now you can see he's got everything in line. His fingers are right here and the other hand's right here. And that's what he's aiming with. This is his aiming mechanism right here. He knows where this ball is going to go down the lane. He's working on that right now. Step 3. Now he's got everything cocked and loaded and ready to go. And you can see he's actually airborne. And so are you at that point. Again, very similar things. You're, yeah, you're a better athlete. I'll bet in the foot race you win. Okay, let's see. Feet down, slide coming. Feet down, touchdown. Move you over a little bit. Okay, Jason over. Okay. Now, of course, it's a different camera angle. I was really out in the middle of the lane taking this picture straight back. But you kind of get the idea of how everything here, everything in what Jason has going on right now, this whole process right here is his lineup to where he's going to send the ball. He is just geared in on it. This ball right now is just a little bit inside of your shoulder. So that has to be readjusted at the bottom of the swing to get, and, you know, to get your direction down the lane consistent. All right, Jason, bring it down, buddy. See how this is just, you can see how he had everything lined up, and he knows where this ball's going. And his slide foot he's a little bit tucked in too with it. I mean, I'd like to see him have a little bit straighter slide foot, but I have yet to get a two-handed bowler that can do that, so I'm not going to get too fussed over it. But this is really nice and tight with Jason right here, and at this point his head is directly over the top of the ball. He's got it next to his ankle. He's got this maximum leverage and balance at this point. And watch how he winds up. Nice and straight and balanced, okay? He's not sideways. And I think that's one of the dangers with that extremely long last slide step you're making. So I'd want to move you up on the lane a ton. I'd like to move you up, you know, two feet to start with, and say, okay, slow everything down and get it under control. And then expand it back, and then the minute you lose control, stop there. So compress your game down, make it much smaller in the learning process. It's a drill. It would be a drill. My drill for you at home is to compress your game. Move up on the approach at least 2, let's do it 3 feet. I want you to move forward 3 feet from where you've been standing. And do your entire approach in that distance. And get so that you can do that. So that when you hit that foul line, you are dead balanced. Now, expand it back a foot at a time, but don't lose control at the foul line. You need to be able to look like Jason is here. You need to hit that foul line, you're stable, your foot doesn't have to readjust the body above you, so forth. So that's a part of the game, and you guys with the high rev rate, I mean, you got serious rev rate and horsepower, so your game depends on having control. I mean, you can have all the revs in the world. If revs were going to do it, Jason wins every tournament, him and Oscar. So the reason they don't win every tournament is when you guys miss, you very seldom leave simple spares. You leave designer programs down there, you know, 3 over here and 2 over there, and wow. So my point being, power, you got all you need. Control, that's where we're working here. One of the things Jason worked on really, really hard in the last year that's made such a huge, significant difference is to keeping himself and hitting that foul line in this position where he was totally under control, okay? So I really thank you for going with IAB. We do enjoy doing this, and especially I love doing people from around the world, in your case from Manchester, England, home of the Beatles, I think, if I remember right. So good luck to you. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to send us an email, and let me help you. I know you asked for Jason to make a comment. I haven't talked to him, but I'm going to see him tomorrow. So I'll talk to him then. Take care. Thanks, Luke.